Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Lee Carlam and I do videos on mindset, psychology, life and wisdom. And if you're back, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about how people with anxious attachment and avoidant attachment actually come together in a relationship, and it's a nightmare, but we're going to go over this so you can avoid it and see the signs. Essentially, when someone is anxious, they want validation from the other person. They don't want that other person to leave. They will do what it takes to make sure that person doesn't leave, whether it's trying to change your interests, trying to say the right things, quote unquote, trying to avoid saying the wrong things, always apologizing, making sure that person isn't upset. Because to them, they might have past experiences when they were younger or in previous relationships where when someone is mad at them, they leave. When someone is mad, that person abandons them. And so they have developed this preconception and started applying it to all future relationships. This can be romantic, platonic, but in this case, we're going to talk about romantic relationships only because the difference between romantic and platonic relationships is that it's more intimate and you actually really have to get your vulnerability and your emotions involved. So that is why we're mostly talking about a romantic case. And as for the avoidant attachment people, they are not going to put that much effort in. Like this one guy I talked to, he sent me one message per day. I'm like, what? That's such an ick. And not only is it an ick, but it almost looks like low effort, right? It essentially is. But to them, it doesn't feel like it. To them, it's a protective mechanism. They don't want to get hurt. They will avoid any chance at them being vulnerable. They don't want to share their emotions. They don't even want to act like they want to get to know the other person. So they might not be asking, how was your day? What did you do? What did you eat? Because when they start realizing that they're putting effort into the relationship, into that other person, then they'll start to think, wait, I'm getting too close and it's going to hurt if they leave. It's going to hurt if none of my efforts are seen by the other person. It's going to hurt if I'm being so attached and I love this person and I really like this person and I care about this person, but then they don't do that back to me, or they don't feel that love back to me. And so in order to avoid this immense feeling of hurt, because it does hurt, let's all be honest, they tend to avoid that other person, to distance themselves away. And how you really see this play, so you kind of have to understand, the differences, but I just explained, the anxious and the avoidant. Now, how this really comes into play is, for example, right, that real life example where that guy sent me like one message per day, it was a nightmare. The message was maximum 2 sentences. I kid you not. It was crazy. And some of it didn't even include questions. So I'm like, what do I even say? And yes, the conversation fizzled out because I'm not an anxious attachment person. I would say I've worked very, very hard and have developed so much awareness and wisdom to the point where I am more of a secure attached person. So this goes for friendships, romantic relationships, getting to know people, anyone. And now, however, it's so funny because that guy that I talked to, he said that he attracts shy and anxious girls. So number one, that's a red flag. If a guy ever says that, red flag, run the other way. And this goes for if a guy or a girl says that, okay? If people say they are telling you to run away and that you shouldn't be with them, don't be with them. Listen to them. Listen to what people say. And now, if I were to be an anxious attached person to that person, it would actually in a way work. It would work, but it would still be toxic. Don't get me wrong. It would work because they're avoidant, so they're running away, and then I'm running to them. Right? But let's say I'm secure, because I am, right? I had a secure attachment, so I'm like right here. I'm not going to chase someone. I'm not going to avoid someone. I just stay right here. But for them, right? Like you should be having like, this is me, this is them, okay? You should be like this, okay? If you're both securely attached. But for me, I stay here. But then for the guy, he avoids. And so that's how you get that separation. That's how you don't even get to know the other person. And that's how relationships do not work. But in some ways, once again, they do work. If you are an avoidant, come out with the anxious attached partner or person or friend. Because then that anxious person will actually fill up that gap by constantly asking questions, constantly double texting you, calling you on the phone, wondering who you're with. where you went, what you ate, and will constantly be asking these questions. And the thing is, it's not even about interest. Interest comes from the inside because you want to get to know that person, because they have traits that you like and that you value in a partner. Being anxious means that you are only showing interest in asking them questions because you're like grabbing onto them. You don't want them to go away. It's like having a bird in your hand. You're holding it, grasping it tightly when it kind of actually wants to leave. Like, sure, it's working. You're holding the bird. It's not flying away, right? But once you just let go, there is a chance that that bird could fly away, or it stays on your hand. However, not feeling restricted. So that is the huge difference. Once again, these relationships, it works, but in the long run, it's very toxic. You're not going to feel great. It's going to feel terrible. If you're an avoidant person, do you really want to live the rest of your life with your romantic or platonic relationships, realizing that I don't feel understood? And maybe that's because you're not letting yourself be vulnerable with people. You don't tell them about how you really feel, how your day went. You don't tell them about that. You don't tell them that your boss fired you. You don't tell them that you feel upset, that you feel mad, or even that you feel happy. You don't let yourself into that other person. Now, on the flip side, if you're an anxious attached person, sure, it might work in the short term, but in the long run, in the long term, you're going to feel like you're overgiving. Then you end up feeling so physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. You feel like you're doing all the work. So, that's pretty much it. If you see these signs, yeah, that's a huge sign. That's a huge red flag. Probably take some time to start reflecting. And guess what? Join the Wise Minds community. Link below to apply. It is a paid community. Per month, you get a ton of exclusive content and direct access to me, where I can answer your questions and literally show you my day-to-day about how I think about things. And essentially, this community, very simple. It's not therapy. It's not to do with discipline, self-improvement. It's to really deepen your mind and deepen and expand that wisdom. So, thanks for watching. If you haven't, please make sure to like and subscribe because it helps me a lot, and I'll show up on your feed more if that's what you want. So apply to the Wise Minds, and see you in the next video.